Well, in our marriage, I put myself first, and that wasn't working.
It was all about me. It was all about Barry. It was about her fault and what she did.
We had a lot of expectations on each other and required a lot from each other.
We also felt like we had a pretty good marriage, though. We felt like we had a strong marriage going into being Christians before we got married, dating for a good amount of time. So, going into the study, we felt like we, had a good understanding of it, but we were pleasantly surprised at the end of the study what more we gained out of it for our marriage.
To know there is a purpose other than we're lonesome or whatever reasons people get married, that God has a purpose.
I've learned to put Christ first and see that Barry was created as a perfect provision for me by God.
The study was able to pull out a lot of thoughts and feelings and discussions that maybe we wouldn't have normally had as a married couple.
Our problems are not so different from the next person's problem. I was able to learn from other people on how to deal with certain situations that I wasn't comfortable with.
One of the things we learn is that we can't change our spouse, which is huge. Only God can change our spouse. We need to focus on ourselves and our own walk with God. And as we do that, God will also be working in our spouse's heart.
Putting God first and letting everything else revolve around Him, I think really took a lot of pressure off of us or any spouse to be perfect or to fulfill how Justin always says, that God-shaped whole.
It has created a lot of oneness between us where we're trying to reach decisions from a more unified standpoint. I had an I mentality, and then after I had consulted myself, then I would go on to consult Barry, and hopefully he would be on board, and if not, oftentimes I would proceed anyway. But now I really try to discuss the issues, and so that we can come together on one accord and make a decision that's in the best interest of both of us.
By releasing it all to God, in fact, we're partnering with God, and that takes a lot of the pressure off of us.
I think one thing that really changed for me was if he hurt me in some way or didn't respond the way I wanted him to, instead of just being angry or getting my space, I think the biggest thing was returning with a blessing, which is very hard. And I think at first I felt, that it was impossible and there was no way that could work, but it did, and it was amazing just to be able to show that love when he was hurting instead of us both deciding to hurt or hurt each other.
Now after taking the class, I see that I was living for the wrong reasons. I was supposed to be living for Christ. I was supposed to be living for a oneness with Christ and with my significant other.
Was it instantaneous? Part of it was, but it's an ongoing process for us. But we really started to see that there was so much more that we could get out of our marriage rather than just coexisting and having a good marriage. It
was the first time I'd really seen the Holy Spirit work in my life, and it was amazing. It was supernatural because I haven't changed, my wife hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed in our marriage is we're putting God first now and using the power of the Holy Spirit.
It's about our relationship, but more importantly, it's about our relationship with God. And so as we're both moving closer toward God at the top of the triangle, we're automatically going to become closer to each other. So the main focus really of the Bible study is about getting right with God and your relationship with God. And in doing that, you just naturally, we're going to have a better marriage. We're going to have the type of marriage that God planned.